Okay, welcome to another episode of Ash and Bans. Ash is being me, I imagine, and Bans being you, Mr. Banton. So I got another video for you because Gary Stevenson video did so well. We're just going to discuss the attacks again. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of his fans were not pleased, let's say, with how we talked about Mr. Stevenson's the savior of the Britain and probably, possibly, most likely the Western world, one of the best economies and one of the best traders in the world. Anyway, okay, let's get on with this. The whole debate of wealth tax is quite hot right now in the UK. You might not know about this because you don't live around here anymore.
Which is
But anyway, let's.
ironic because wealth tax in the UK is such a big topic, but very few people actually have the wealth. So it's interesting that it's such a hot topic. Most people in the UK living standards on us abysmally low, like my friend in the background who's struggling to heat himself right now. It's actually summertime in Britain, but he's in a jumper because his house is so cold.
So this is the video of a debate within the Green Party. Is it co-chair of, I don't know, what was his name? Polanski?
But
Okay,
yeah,
I'm now sounding very.
Zach Polanski or something.
Yeah, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's
the leader of the Green Party.
is he the leader, but is he the co-leader? That's what I'm just wondering. Anyway, I think they have like, I don't know, 10 different leaders for such a small party.
And they believe
Anyway,
in equality and distributing
yeah,
the pollution.
the leadership. Everyone's a leader. Anyway, let's watch this. The one thing I would say, I'm imagining the members of public had more things to say, but the way this is cut, this is just like such a short soundbite of actually saying nothing.
Right? Like that person, the first was like, I think the tax system needs to be reformed. What does that even mean? Or they have everything and we have nothing. What does that even mean? It's just like sound bites. That's why
And one of them just said, "It's all gonna kick off, mate. It's all gonna kick off, innit?"
I think he was referring to the football match he was going. He was en route to. But you know what
Like,
it is? It's politically irresistible, right? But it's economically disastrous. It's so irresistible to talk about wealth taxes, but then it's economically disastrous. There have been so many times and experiments in Scandinavian countries and other countries that the wealth tax just doesn't work. It doesn't generate what is believed to be generated. It saps productivity from the economy, and probably most ruinously, which is quite counterintuitive to many people, the rich people leaving actually is a problem for the country. So I don't know.
I think the last gentleman was saying, like, in opposed to what you said, like the rich won't leave. It's like overblown that the fact that they might leave. Just to reply to uh, people such as yourself. Let's listen to it again. Sorry. Okay, what do
100%.
you have to back yourself up, Mrs. Yu? People will actually, if they're taxed 1%, they will like, oh, okay, that's it, I'm leaving.
The thing is, most of the lay public, and I'm the lay public as well. I'm not like some super rich billionaire, but I know enough to know that the mobility of rich people's money and assets is as such that it doesn't really affect where they live jurisdictionally. They live in places that are safe for their assets, that protect their assets, that have the rule of law, and that are like propitious and auspicious for the improvement and the bigger accruement of their assets. So knowing that, a wealth tax doesn't scare people into leaving necessarily because they have all of the means and structures to be able to evade the tax anyway. But like I said before, it's politically irresistible to talk about a wealth tax when in reality, you have to be addressing the actual productivity problems of the country because it's an unpopular fact that the vast majority of the tax income receipts come from a very small percentage of the richest people in society. So yeah, it's all well and good to say, hey, let's redistribute wealth. Let's change the tax system to penalize those high earners. But you are penalizing literally the highest proportion of your tax base that pays for the rest of, I think it's something mad, like the top 20 or 30% pay 90% of the taxes in the UK. Like it's
Mm.
crazy. So taxing them even more and incentivizing them to maybe leave or to redistribute their assets in a less tax-friendly way is actually going to be more ruinous for the economy and actually trying to increase productivity, actually trying to get the millions of people who are unemployed back into work rather than actually penalizing the people who are creating the jobs and who are bringing
Yeah.
money into the UK economy.
Yeah, the thing is, without I think without, I don't even know if it works with global cooperation, but definitely without it, it will never work. As soon as you see like a country is taxing people more, and another country that needs capital, they're gonna say, Actually, we're not going to tax. Like we're gonna tax you not even like 2% even less from what they were taxing you before. So come to our country, and that will just give them a quick boost, especially if it's a democracy and they just need a quick boost. Like they don't care about the long term of, I don't know, 20 years. What happens? Like in a 5 year time, like I'm serving a 5 years term. So I'm just going to bring some rich people, bring some money in, and like I'll get re-elected again. And doesn't matter that what happens in 20 years time. And I don't know, maybe they just grab all the capital of the country. But in short term, it would be a success for the government. So I would say like it's all well to say that wealth tax will work, but as long as there are countries competing against each other, there'll always be a country that offer more incentives to rich people. So
Yeah, that is a brilliant point. Like tax jurisdictional arbitrage is what you're talking about. Geopolitical
mm,
arbitrage is what you're referring to. And there are literally specific nations, many of them British protectorates, actually, like the Cayman Islands and the Virgin Islands, where people, the number one export of that country is to be a tax efficient, tax haven. You're right. So if you're not going to be treating money well, it's going to go elsewhere. There's a famous phrase that money goes to where it's treated best and capital goes to where it's cheapest. And that adage has been the same for centuries all around the world. People are going to
mm.
compete for rich people. Has there ever been a country that has initiated a wealth tax and it hasn't been repealed in quick order? Do you know any countries where it's actually worked? Because I have a list of
Well,
countries for you right now where it hasn't.
yeah, but I think it has to come. Well, fact, it has to come with a guillotine as well as an option for it to work. So you either pay up or, or be you know what I mean? Like that's the only way forcing people to pay more taxes. If it's down to people, they would just leave. Yeah, let's watch the rest of it because we haven't actually got to the video. What? A former dragon? Did it just say former dragon?
I love the way it said former dragon, and he just kind of like came in, it slid in like, eh. He slid in from the side transition. That was it. Former dragon.
Oh, who's the woman who is nice interjection? Tell us what you mean. Go
No,
on,
but
Dan.
you know what? The reason is because this guy, like many
Mm,
other proponents of this wealth tax system, don't know what they're bloody talking about. And I don't know what
mm,
he's about to say, but I'm pretty sure he's going to talk without saying really much. He's going to come out with the
mm.
same headlines or the ad hominems. He's going to come out with the sound bites. Oh, yeah, the rich aren't paying their fair share. And then when he's asked to scrutinize it and say, how is that implementable? He's like, well, wealth tax in it. But I might be wrong.
Yeah, unrelated. I don't know why he's like with his beard, he's trimmed this side, but he's just left everything down there, so it just is like a downpour. Anyway, that's a
It's called the waterfall beard.
grooming
It's a new look.
grooming tip. Yeah, yeah. Maybe work on the next stuff. Yes, just stating the obvious.
So wait a minute. Sorry. He said this is not a tax on income. It's not about what people earn with their hands and their brains and their mouths. How do you think billionaires get rich? Do you think it just like
I mean,
falls
can't you
out
say that's an
telepathically?
income when you're renting a 1 billion? I mean, you receive income as like renting your capital, your houses. That's an income.
That is an income.
That doesn't even
That
make
is an
sense.
income, right?
Yeah, but
And also,
yeah, that is
think
an
about it,
income.
right? How many people would that tax apply to? 2% on people with assets over 10 billion is probably about, I don't know, 20 people in the UK. And assets
Mm.
over 1 billion is 1%. Again, there's not that many billionaires. So is
It
this a
was the
symbol?
other way around, I think.
Was it the other way
It
around?
was
So
higher. It
okay,
was
that
higher
makes
for
more
the
sense.
billion.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So is that a symbolic tax because it's going to be very difficult to raise it, number one, or is it a tax that's actually meant to plug some kind of deficit hole, or is it just to say, yeah, look at that Green Party guy, he wants to tax the rich? Is it just that?
Yeah, I don't think it's practical at all. It's
Well, it's
going
not.
to be so. You know how much it will cost HMRC? They're going to value people's assets. Then there will be big lawsuits because the billionaires can sue you out of existence. They'll
100%.
drag it in court, and it will cost you so much that you'll regret you ever mentioned that the 2% tax. They're like, okay, I'll give you the 2%, but I'll take 10% out of it.
Ultimately, that's what happens. It drives the capital out. It's administratively impossible to collect the correct amount of money. There's capital flight from billionaires moving their assets abroad and being scared to have foreign direct investment in. And then you have the real issue of it actually starting to hit the middle class. Because when it becomes punitive for the HMRC to implement it, those cuts or those extra expenses have to go somewhere. And where do you start defining how rich someone is? Do you start talking about assets that have been in their family or a house that they've inherited? I know people whose houses 30 years ago were 60 grand. Now they're over $1 million. Are they the wealthy? But they've just been fortunate enough to have a house that's accrued value. It becomes very, very punitive. So it's very easy to talk about a wealth tax because I think it's lazy politics, but it's kind of politics that kind of get you more bang for your buck. Everyone can jump on the bandwagon of saying, yeah, the rich are too rich. It's lazy politics, in my opinion.
In time of desperation, it's a good politics to have. 'Cause it sounds good. Nobody else, I mean, not enough people think about it that much. Like, oh, taxing the rich, get that much money. How much money they make? Oh,
Right.
billions, 2% of billions. Like, if you don't imagine all the problems that comes with it, it just sounds brilliant.
Right.
Like, okay, that's sorted. That's like 100 billion more for the government to spend on public services. But in reality, it's not going to be. They're not going to give it without a fight. It means 1 out of 100.
What does 1% mean? I don't know. What does 1% mean?
Let's ask the former dragon with his fire-based policies.
Well, back in my day, 1% meant 1% of fire. What is 1% is 1% is 1%. It's everywhere. But anyway.
I mean, that's not a bad point.
What do you mean it's not a bad point? What is unearned wealth? If I put in the work to make a company then the company is paying me dividends, how is that unearned work? It's been worked by someone.
No, it was more, I think, more to do with like if you inherit, I don't know, property and you're just receiving rent from it or receiving, or maybe even you're receiving shares as, I don't know, it's inherited.
Yeah, but that's taxed. It's called inheritance tax. It's literally taxed. It's called capital gains tax. You get taxed on dividends, you get taxed on shares, you get taxed on inheritance. Those tax systems exist.
Okay, so then factually, it's not correct to say the capital gain tax is lower than income tax. If you go back to like looking at the inheritance tax and all the other taxes that you receive with
well, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
This is why people like
it has to be calculated.
They don't get interrogated enough. People like this don't get interrogated about what they actually mean about we're taxing income more than we're taxing wealth. I mean,
you would put these people like that in prison, right? They don't get interrogated enough. They don't admit to their crimes. Is that what you say?
No, I'm just
they have to face a TV, but it should be a trial. It shouldn't be just an interview.
No, but you know what I mean, right? You should not be able to spout out things like that without having robust numbers behind it. For example, before she asked them, what does 1% mean? And we all laughed at it. And then she asked them a very good question. What about a person in a property whose value is £1 million, but it's appreciated over time? And then he said, well, it'll be, there's a variety of ways we do it, but it's what the asset is worth after valuation. And I was like, what? What do you mean?
Well, she just said over 1 million evaluation. Okay, she just made that clear. Then he's like, no, we have to evaluate it. He didn't want to answer that because, as she said, a lot of people have properties that are over 1 million, but it has just
but you know what?
He
shirked that question. Do you know why he shirked that question? Because a lot of people who would vote Green are actually a lot of people who would live in £1 million home, not because they're wealthy, but because they've inherited that, or because they've worked hard enough to gain that amount of money. And he doesn't want to address that because, like any politician, he doesn't want to affect his base. But that question is directly aimed at his base. And I think that was quite smart of her to say it like that, because there are a lot of people with a lot of money who would vote Green.
Do a lot of people vote Green?
I don't know what their absolute numbers were or the plurality of their numbers in the parliament was last year, but I know that it's probably in the tens or the hundreds of thousands easily. Yeah, a lot of people do.
Laughs in rich, possibly. Oh, back in the day as a dragon, I had a lot of treasure stolen from villages. What?
What
One
was that?
percent of 10 million was it? Okay.
Oh, what this guy? Hell, he, you, you paused at the right point. He's like, oh, what's this? Head on hand, hand on head.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
you got me. You got me. This old dragon has nothing to answer back with that one.
Yeah. So you want children to be dead? Is that what you're saying? You just want your 100,000, but you don't care. You like to kill children. What you're saying is
What she said.
you pay
You're
100,000 to kill
rich.
children. Is that
You're
what?
rich.
Yeah.
Therefore, you
Yeah.
kill kids,
I mean, how are you going to reply to that? So
right?
hundreds, like, how is that even dichotomy?
How do you reply to it? You're like, how many kids can I save for 100 grand? I feel like Schindler's List right now. Just one more gold ring and I can save another kid. Like, how many
But I
kids does
can't
100
choose. I
grand
keep
buy
it
me?
all to myself. Also, asking a former dragon to save children, I don't think dragons care that much about you.
I don't think they're known for that kindness, to be honest.
The fact that he's actually communicating with us as in human form
It's
is
impressive
in
enough.
itself impressive. Yeah, yeah. And he has made it. He was a dragon. He's turned into a human. He has made enough buck
These
for
are the
himself.
type of people we need in our economy, okay? Former
They come here as
dragon.
a dragon. They come here as a dragon, but they're assimilated. He has
They
assimilated to
come
a
here,
British person.
take all of our fire, take all of our jobs. Let's play it.
They're
Businessman, a
really
former dragon.
going with the former dragon thing. Oh no, he didn't.
Like his ego
Oh,
broke when he said that.
he's trying that hypnosis thing on him now.
You fucking dragon. You dragon. Look into my eyes,
But
dragon.
to be honest, I didn't know about the hypnosis thing. I watched it. I missed this bit. I think I'm actually losing more respect for him because those sort of things. I don't know. It's the pseudoscientific. Did he run a hypnosis course or like a
No, he
business?
was literally a hypnotherapist. Like that was his actual previous job. And he was like an actor or something and a hypnotherapist. I mean, look, I'm all for people having career changes, and I'm also all for people being put to sleep by hypnotherapists. But I don't know if we should be chastising someone because of their previous career. There are many transferable skills from hypnotherapy to politics, I'd imagine. A lot of smoke and mirrors in both of them, getting people to believe things. But I wouldn't be taking economic advice from someone who doesn't have a background in it. I kind of understand the dragon's point, to be honest. The dragon's making
Former
a good
dragon
point.
versus
It's a low blow.
former
It's a low blow.
hypnosis.
It's a low blow, but it's a good point. Where's this guy come from with hypnotherapist background talking to me about wealth taxes? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, he was a dragon himself, so I don't know why
It's
he's
true.
talking about that.
It's true. But
Yeah.
would you
But
rather have a dragon in your back?
because he can't bring up the fact that he was a dragon, he'll be labeled a species.
Too many skeletons in his closet. If we don't bring up his past. He actually looks quite red in the face right now, to be honest. Like a previous dragon
Yeah.
would look.
Yeah, no. It's very scaly.
No.
Shit. But we use
I mean,
to
this guy
change the
hasn't
behaviors
blinked.
again.
He hasn't blinked once.
He will hypnotize the rich to pay. Yeah, actually, they should. I can't understand what either of them say now.
Well, to be honest, I have got some statistics here, and the former dragon is correct. France, 2017, abandoned because of all of the big failures. 60,000 millionaires left over 15 years from France. Sweden, they repealed it in 2007. It drove wealthy individuals to move taxes abroad. It raised less money than it cost to implement. Denmark got rid of it in the year 2000. The cost of collecting the money outweighed the amount of money that it actually generated. Germany, also suspended for the same reasons. Netherlands, same reasons. Austria, same reason. Italy, same reason. Ireland, same reason. And the pattern was all the same. It cost too much to raise it, to administrate it. It cost too much money in terms of how much the cost was versus how much it raised. People left. Capital flight was egregious and expeditious, and it actually drove productivity down. So these wealth taxes don't work. Unless this guy thinks he can hypnotherapy his way into success, I just don't see how the dragon can be proved wrong in this one, Ashkan. My mind is on the dragon.
Yeah.
What does it mean, fabricated? Oh my god!
How
You
is
know,
that his responsibility? Like, he's not. Isn't it the government's responsibility for taking care of the poverty of children? Like, you could say, as the person who wants to be part of the government, we see that this is the way to go forward to care for our people. But you can't say say it's morally irresponsible for you not to pay how much tax they want. Like, it's not his responsibility. It is your responsibility as government try to get the tax or take care of the children. And they sound like they don't tax anyone ever at all. And it's a new new business. Like, why do we have such a mess in NHS, or as he said, like so much poverty with what we have now? Like, is it like we've maximized everything and we still don't have enough money, or is it like there's a lot of waste, a lot of mismanagement? So it is a very emotive argument that isn't really based on, I don't think it is based on facts. And as he said, what did he mean by saying it's fabricated? What is fabricated? Like, you
what's
just
fabricated?
all this
Literally, the evidence is there from economists, right leaning, left leaning. It's all there. The evidence is there in droves about what's happened. And to be honest, you're right. It's not a billionaire's fault or a billionaire's prerogative to care about the children in the country. Hey, would it be great if they did? Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure a lot of them are philanthropic and altruistic and give way more money to charity or to good deeds than this guy will ever do or any of us will do. However, it's the business of government to pursue government. They should be the ones helping the starving children. They should be the ones housing the homeless. They should be the ones feeding the starving children, not billionaires. And vilifying billionaires and rich people is actually so counterintuitive because on one hand, you want them to pay more money, but on the other hand, you are actively vilifying the accruement of wealth. So what is it? Do you want them to be rich? Because if they're not rich, you're not going to get them to be paying tax anyway. So it makes no sense. You're vilifying the pursuit of wealth. Yeah, okay, look, the wealth gap is egregious. It shouldn't be that large. But if you disincentivize it, it literally is the thing that leads to a crumbling economy, especially with our tax system, where the vast majority of our tax income receipts to HMRC are generated by the top 30 and 20%. So actually vilifying these people is counterintuitive to what you're actually saying. It doesn't compute.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5 minutes video so far, and they've mentioned like children twice in as an argument, using the poverty in the UK and the situation with children in poverty to oppose his views, which I don't see. Like, I don't follow. It's like I can't see the roadmap of wealth tax equals no poverty for children, or
Right?
it means like 50% less poverty for children. Like, he hasn't created that argument to say like, if we do this and do this and do that, we can tackle the poverty in children. All you guys are on board. Like, this is how we're going to use this tax. Like, make this commitment. Like, tell all the billionaires or all the millionaires, like, we'll tax it this much. This money will be used to. That's the only way we'll use it to help the NHS and help poverty in the UK. Will you be on board with it or not? When they say no, we won't be. You can even make it optional, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
you're putting them in a situation and saying, okay, we have this system. Some of the billionaires are actually helping out with this and like helping your NHS, helping it, and some of them refuse. And then you might actually hit them, like, if the public know about it, maybe you might hit them very fast. Like, people won't buy the product. They'll be actually vilified rather than, but you actually have to show something for it beforehand rather than just coming and saying like, this guy bigger than this guy, your children are poor, which isn't true. Even what I'm saying is probably doesn't mean, I mean, in reality, probably wouldn't be practical, but at least it is. Like, my main point is you have to show something for it rather than just saying you either pay tax or children die. That doesn't work.
It's that easy, right? But hey,
Yeah.
those are the kind of headlines that kept people going. Even the presenter disingenuously said, "Oh, so what? You want children to starve? Like you're not
You
going to
don't
pay
want to
any
help
tax?"
children. You don't want to look at this photo. Oh, little Benny, 3 years old. You don't want to help him. That's like saying like every charity telling you, oh, you're not paying that £10 a month. You killed another child. Did you know that? You got £10, but you don't pay it. So everyone in the UK, everyone here is guilty of killing children in poorer countries because you can easily help them. You have the means, just don't buy
Yes,
that PlayStation, and
exactly. But you know what?
you
People in
can
the
make that
UK,
argument.
you can. But I'd say people in the UK are so overtaxed in every aspect of their being, from bloody inheritance tax to living tax, to council tax, to road tax, to income tax, to NI tax. Listen, it's
Yeah,
it's high time that the economy moves away from just using this blunt instrument, right? When every problem looks like a nail, your only solution is a hammer. And the only solution in the UK is to raise taxes. And look at what we've seen recently with Rachel Reeves and Starmer and the budget, and how they've had to back down because the people are overburdened with tax. And I'm sorry to tell
yeah.
you, wealth taxes on the top 1% or 10% of society are not going to solve the problem. It's a structural problem of the society. Productivity, successive governments making bad choices, and the country not being able to fulfill its obligations over the long term in terms of like triple lock pensions, final salary pension, a huge burden like the army and the NHS without it being productive or cutting costs in any way, shape, or form. I don't see this guy talking about maybe the MPs might take a hit to their salary. They get an above inflation salary increase every single year. Not to mention subsidized meals, second homes, triple lock pensions. I don't see him talking about, hey, why don't we help these starving children by lowering my salary? No, I don't see him saying that. He never would.
Is he an MP?
Is he an MP?
I don't think so.
What's his name again?
Polanski,
Is he an MP?
Zach Polanski, member of the London Assembly. So no,
So this guy's not even an MP, and he's talking about wealth
no,
tax. You should go away then, Zach. You sure he's not an MP?
no, he's not.
Well, that kind of ruins my argument a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, as an assembly member, he makes around 67K a year, which isn't too bad. I don't
Not
think
too
it's a
bad.
full-time job. Is it London Assembly? Is it a full-time job? I don't know.
Do you
It's
think?
not too bad
Do you think Zach Polanski is trying to be a Zoran Mamdani
without all the charm.
without all of the charm, or that Hollywood smile, or that floppy hair? But yes, I do not agree with this wealth tax. I mean, it's a great in principle. And you know what? You know what? I would agree with it if I knew that the money could be raised and it wouldn't be deleterious to the economy. But I just think it's a politically attractive thing to say, but it's economically disastrous. I will stick with that.
Okay, let's watch the rest and have a final word. What? Did he just show his hair? Hey, look, I'm just going to end this argument with this luscious hair. Look at that. So, look at your hair, thinning, mine,
Look at my
luscious.
hair. You
Yeah. Who's right?
open university and a hair transplant. He's
Yeah.
basically saying. But also, he said something that's false. He asked him, are there any places where this has succeeded? And he said it succeeded in Switzerland and it succeeded in Norway. That was inaccurate. It has never succeeded
No
in Switzerland.
way.
Yeah, no way, Norway. It never succeeded
Yeah.
in Norway and it never succeeded in Switzerland. So
I
that's a
think
lie.
they have loosened it in Norway. They've like brought it down a bit and they made the laws a bit like it's still going on, but it is actually less than 1%.
Yeah, yeah. It's never run. It's never been successful in the long run of any developed economy anywhere in the world. And Norway also only has 17 billionaires compared to the UK in the hundreds. And Switzerland has 100 billionaires. But
Yeah.
it hasn't worked in the way that it was foreseen to work.
So it was in France. I don't know how much it was, but I have to fact check as well. I don't think it was like because he said like they cast a wide net. I don't think the net was that wide when they
No, but
casted
you know
it in
what? No,
France
do you
and
know
other
what?
countries.
I remember this in France. I remember it because the numbers were so huge. And I remember this interview on the BBC with this like French billionaire, and he had like huge floppy hair, and he looked like a farmer or something. And he was like, they want to charge us 92%. It was something mad, Ashkan. Like it was
Okay, okay,
92% tax on anything over like a certain amount. It was a huge amount of tax. And so I understand why that failed there, but
okay.
I don't see how that's casting a net too wide, to be honest. Like
No.
but 92% would never ever work. And we had to repeal that pretty quickly.
I know you have to leave, so let's watch the last bit. And she does have a £1 million house.
I'm telling you, she does, man.
Did he
Those
call them
poor
the poor
people,
souls?
the povos. I'm telling you,
Did she actually say poor souls?
she said those
Like,
poor souls. She is living in £1 million house. She was talking about herself. What about the people like me who live in £1 million house? That's so cool,
Sarah from Little Mermaid, the poor unfortunate soul.
bro. These people on these shows, they're on like 500K a year, like easily.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I mean, like the
Yeah, yeah.
BBC presenters and BBC Breakfast, their salary is like 600K a year.
I don't think
It's
it's
mad.
that much anymore, but I don't
No, I
think so.
think it is. Her name is Naga someone. I saw her today. She's actually being investigated for bullying, by the way.
Okay.
And her salary is
Some,
like 500K.
uh, yeah, I don't know about the bullying thing. It's very difficult to tell.
Well, I don't really know what's going on though.
But you can tell presenters are sometimes a bit emotional. Anyway,
I don't know. She's on 360K. Sorry.
I told you so. Yeah. See, it's not that. I found the case to make too much. But that wasn't the same thing as wealth tax. Then he talked about progressive taxing. Yeah. He luscious hair.
Yes.
Why did? Okay. Last words. I'll start and you finish it. I think even like the former dragon as well just simplified things and like he even talked about anecdotes. Oh, my friends, 5 or 10 of my friends might leave. I mean, that's not. And he wasn't talking factual either. I think he didn't either like offered any solution to or sympathize with the solution people are in the UK and just but I guess it's not his place to talk about it, but it could have been. I mean, his words would be accepted more if he offered some sort of solution, which would be tax the rich people less.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way he said, like, the rich people don't hold money, they do. Well, sometimes they invest, but sometimes if they don't feel like it's a good time, they'll just keep the money, keep the cash. So he was speaking a bit of half truth, in my opinion, as well.
Well,
Anyway, you ended.
I mean, in closing, look, this is a divisive argument. It's very politically expeditious to blame rich people for all of the problems of the economy, rather than actually talk about the business of government, which is actually running the country, failing the country in terms of bringing people up, closing that wealth gap. And let's be honest, these billionaires have only been able to become as egregiously rich as they are because of certain policies and governments that have restricted taxation on them, not to mention the fact that they also are the first benefits from any kind of stimulus, any kind of government largesse or fiscal expansion. Government contracts normally goes to the people at the top. But these people, these two kind of individuals represent different sectors of society and the economy. The green fella, he will never understand the world of this rich dude. He won't understand his world. And therefore, he has to come at it from a very understandable angle from the majority of society who do not have this access to wealth, privilege, and upward mobility. Similarly, the other man, the former dragon, he exists in a world where when you get to a certain level of wealth, I genuinely believe you start to disdain the average man. You start to you're so detached from the reality that you do not understand the plight of the normal average person. And even if you do, you will not do anything sizably with your own wealth to address those problems. So they're coming from very
Mm.
different angles. I think they both made terrible points, to be honest. I don't think anyone won the argument or actually won any points. But the former Dragons guy, at least he came with a few facts or actual historical examples. But also, it's very, very easy to see that he is just on the side of the wealthy. And why not, right? He's going to protect his wealth. I don't think we should vilify wealth. I don't think that's the way to solve the productivity gap or to solve the deficit spending model or to solve the huge £30 billion black hole in the Labour government, which was left by the Conservative Party. It's to do with systemic change. It's a problem that goes beyond one debate in this studio. but it's a problem that's going to permeate and land on the doorstep of the very most disenfranchised, immiserated, and most unfortunate of society. So it's all good and well for these relatively wealthy people. I mean, even the presenters are wealthy. The Zach dude is relatively wealthy. He's in the top earners of the economy. And this
Yes.
Abba Dragon guy certainly is as well. It's great for them to debate, but that seismic change isn't really anywhere around the corner, especially given the fact that our recent government has backtracked on raising taxation and has backtracked on housing the homeless or in any kind of like financial or macro prudential prudence whatsoever. So it was a good debate, but I don't see any solutions. There is no solution to the wealth tax because the wealthy have means and they have capability to move their money around. And they go to where capital treated best. And unfortunately, it's better the devil you know. It's better to have them in the economy than to lose them.
Justin Banton, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ashkan.
Please like and subscribe. We do need it.
Yes,
Goodbye.
and share. Okay, bye.